My beloved brothers and sisters, today I welcome you with a heart full of love, grace, and urgency. Before we begin, I want to ask you a question that may shake your spirit. Have you ever considered that the words you sing might be opening a door, not to heaven, but to darkness? Listen to me carefully, because what I'm about to share has the power to protect your soul and elevate your spiritual life. Don't miss this. Some of you need this message today more than ever. Many people underestimate the power of the songs they sing. Yet the truth is that music is not just sound, it is a spiritual atmosphere shaper. The words you allow into your spirit through music become the background of your thoughts, the tone of your emotions, and the climate of your home. Before you sing along to any song, pause and ask yourself a life-changing question: what atmosphere is this song creating around me? This one question can protect your peace, your purity, and even your destiny. The atmosphere you live in influences the decisions you make, the habits you develop, and the closeness you feel to God. If you desire a life filled with clarity, joy, and divine presence, then you must be intentional about the atmosphere you feed your soul with. Music is one of the most powerful spiritual tools in existence. It can lift a person from depression to hope, or drag a person from hope into anxiety. It can usher in healing or invite confusion. What you sing is not just entertainment, it is a form of agreement. Singing is a declaration, and declarations open doors in the spiritual realm. This is why you may notice that after listening to uplifting worship, your heart becomes light, your spirit feels strengthened, and suddenly your perspective changes. On the other hand, after listening to dark, negative, or sinful lyrics, something inside you feels disrupted. That shift is not accidental. It is spiritual. Your spirit responds to the sound you feed it. Here is a hook to remember. Your playlist is a prophecy of your future atmosphere. If you want a peaceful future, fill your ears with peaceful sound. If you want a blessed life, sing words that bless your spirit. Imagine walking into a home where worship music fills the air. Instantly, you feel peace, warmth, and comfort. Now imagine entering a place where the lyrics are filled with violence, heartbreak, lust, or rebellion. Your heart becomes unsettled and your spirit becomes uneasy. The atmosphere changed because the sound changed. Many people pray for peace, yet they keep playing songs that fight against the peace they are praying for. They ask God for spiritual strength, but their music weakens their spirit. They desire joy, but feed themselves with sad, broken, and emotionally damaging lyrics. How can light and darkness live in the same atmosphere? What you allow through your ears will eventually settle in your heart. If the song does not agree with the life you want, stop giving it authority in your atmosphere. Your spiritual atmosphere influences more than just how you feel. It influences who you become. If someone listens continuously to music that glorifies anger, they become more irritable. If someone constantly sings songs of heartbreak, they begin expecting heartbreak. If someone repeatedly listens to music celebrating sin, eventually sin will no longer feel wrong to them. The atmosphere created by music can normalize what the Bible clearly warns against. This is why a believer must not treat music casually. Jesus never said, "Guard your eyes and ignore your ears." He said, "Be careful what you hear," because he knew sound shapes your belief and belief shapes your behavior. Your life is too valuable to allow careless music to define it. One powerful decision can change your spiritual atmosphere. Choose music intentionally. Do not allow society, social media, or culture to choose your sound for you. Choose music that aligns with the life, character, and future you want. If you are seeking peace, sing songs filled with peace. If you are building faith, sing songs of truth, hope, and scripture. If you want to feel God's presence more deeply, fill your space with worship. Music ministers to your soul even when you are not paying attention. So make sure what you listen to serves your spiritual growth and not your spiritual decay. Here is another hook you must never forget. Every song is a visitor. Don't invite what you don't want to live with. Guard your atmosphere with wisdom, because the atmosphere you create today becomes the life you experience tomorrow. Many people assume that the enemy attacks only through obvious sin, temptation, or direct spiritual warfare, but one of the most subtle and effective strategies he uses is music. The devil understands that what a sermon cannot convince a believer to accept, a song can make them sing without resistance. Music enters the heart without knocking. It bypasses logic, escapes spiritual caution, and goes straight into the emotions where beliefs are formed. That is why the enemy wraps destructive messages inside catchy beats, attractive rhythms, and emotionally stimulating melodies. If he packaged sin in its raw form, believers would reject it instantly. But if he hides it inside entertainment, millions will applaud it, memorize it, dance to it, and repeat it. Here is a hook to remember: what the devil cannot preach to you, he will make you sing. Songs carry messages, and messages shape mindsets. Think of how easily people memorize lyrics. A person may forget a Bible verse, but remember a worldly song word for word after hearing it twice. That is not accidental, it is strategic. The enemy knows that music creates familiarity, and familiarity creates acceptance. When a message becomes familiar through repetition, it no longer feels wrong. It feels normal. That is how music becomes a silent teacher of sin. A believer who would never speak vulgar words in prayer might still sing them loudly in a song, unaware that they are training their spirit to accept what God rejects. The devil doesn't need you to change your beliefs. He only needs to change your comfort level with darkness. Once you are comfortable, the battle is already half lost. Music also has emotional influence, and the enemy exploits it. A beat can make sin feel exciting, attractive, or harmless. That is his trick, to associate darkness with pleasure. If the enemy can make an ungodly song feel good to the flesh, many will ignore the poison it contains. He hides rebellion in rhythm, lust in melody, vulgarity in rhyme, and pride in sound. People then defend such songs by saying, "I only like the tune, I don't focus on the words." But the spirit world responds to sound, not excuses. Whether you pay attention or not, your spirit absorbs what your mouth releases. Your voice is an agreement in the spiritual realm. Here is another hook. The devil doesn't need your belief. Your agreement is enough. Consider how music influences culture. Fashion, language, attitudes, and even moral boundaries shift because of what becomes popular in songs. A trend in music today becomes a lifestyle trend tomorrow. If the enemy wants to pollute a generation, he doesn't start with behavior. He starts with lyrics. Lyrics create desire. Desire fuels behavior. Behavior forms culture, and culture shapes identity. This is why believers must be spiritually alert and not treat music as harmless entertainment. A catchy song you sing today might be planting seeds that grow into habits you later struggle to break. Darkness rarely enters like a flood. It enters like a melody you hum without thinking. Many believers pray, fast, and seek God's presence, but unknowingly sabotage themselves through the music they entertain. You cannot ask God to purify your mind while feeding it with songs that glorify impurity. You cannot pray for wisdom and then listen to songs that celebrate foolishness. If what you listen to does not match what you pray for, your music is canceling your prayers. Music is a spiritual agreement. Even angels and demons respond to sound. Heaven moves at the sound of worship. Hell moves at the sound of corruption. The enemy knows this, which is why he invests in music more than in any other form of influence. The time has come to be intentional and spiritually aware. Do not allow the enemy to disciple you through songs. Before you hit play, ask yourself, would I still sing this if Jesus was sitting beside me? That one question will expose the truth. Guard your ears with wisdom, because the enemy's sweetest trap is not the one you fear. It is the one you enjoy. Your words are not ordinary expressions. They are spiritual instruments that shape the reality you step into. What you speak, repeat, and sing carries creative power, whether you realize it or not. Many people sing lyrics casually, believing it is just music. But everything that comes out of your mouth becomes a seed released into the atmosphere. The Bible says life and death are in the power of the tongue. And that truth applies not only to spoken words, but also to the songs you sing. When you sing lyrics of pain, loss, betrayal, immorality, or fear, you are not just enjoying a song, you are agreeing with the very things you do not want to experience. Here is a hook you must remember. Your mouth is a pen. Whatever you sing, you write into your future. Think for a moment about how powerful lyrics are. People listen to a song about heartbreak, and suddenly they begin to feel sad, even when nothing is wrong in their personal life. Someone sings a song about loneliness, and before long, loneliness becomes familiar to their emotions. Another person sings about being broken, and soon their heart begins to believe that brokenness is part of their identity. Why does this happen? Because repetition is spiritual reinforcement. Your mind may say, I don't mean it, but your spirit hears agreement every time those words leave your mouth. You cannot speak darkness and expect to walk in light. You cannot sing defeat and expect to live in victory. You cannot declare impurity and expect to maintain spiritual strength. Your mouth is prophesying your atmosphere. This is why certain songs remain stuck in a person's head for days. The melody locks into the mind and the lyrics embed themselves into the heart. Many people are walking around proclaiming pain, chanting sadness, confessing sin, and affirming toxic mindsets without realizing they are the ones authorizing these experiences in their lives. Words create pathways. The more you sing something, the more your heart accepts it, and the more your life aligns with it. It is not harmless entertainment. It is subconscious programming. If you feed yourself with lyrics that celebrate sin, eventually sin will not feel wrong. It will feel normal. If you constantly sing about heartbreak, your spirit will expect heartbreak. Here is another hook. Of your voice is a key. What you sing either locks or unlocks doors in your life. Notice how worship works. When you sing songs of faith, your spirit rises. When you sing about God's goodness, your atmosphere shifts. When you repeat words of hope, joy begins to fill your heart. Why does this happen so quickly? Because singing is a form of alignment. You align your spirit with the words you release. If positive and godly lyrics can build faith, peace, and joy, then harmful lyrics can plant the opposite. Music is spiritual agreement disguised as entertainment. Even the enemy knows that if he can control what comes out of your mouth, he can influence what manifests in your life. You may never say, I accept pain, but if you sing it 50 times, in a week your spirit has already signed the contract. Many believers pray for breakthrough while singing lyrics that block breakthrough. They ask God for joy, but repeatedly declare sadness through their music. They pray for strength, but sing weakness into their spirit. They ask for purity, but sing impurity into their emotions. Your words must agree with what you want God to do in your life. Do not cancel your prayer with your playlist. If you want peace, sing peace. If you want growth, sing growth. If you want divine favor, sing favor. What you sing, you attract, because singing is a declaration. From today, become intentional with your words and lyrics. Do not allow your mouth to become a tool that limits your destiny. Use your voice as a weapon of life, not a doorway to pain. Speak and sing what aligns with your purpose, your calling, and your spiritual identity. Your tongue is too powerful to be used carelessly. Guard it, direct it, strengthen it, and always remember the hook. If your mouth wouldn't pray it, don't sing it. Music is not just something you listen to, it is something that shapes you. What you allow into your ears eventually settles into your mind, influences your emotions, and molds your character. Many people do not realize that their playlist is silently training their heart, their habits, and their lifestyle. The songs you play repeatedly are not background sound, they are background programming. Whether you are aware of it or not, music has the power to transform your behavior, your mindset, and even the spiritual climate of your life. Here is a hook you must remember. What fills your ears will soon fill your life. If you desire a life aligned with peace, purity, purpose, and spiritual strength, then the music you entertain must reflect those values. If someone listens to music full of negativity, anger, disrespect, and rebellion, they should not be surprised when such attitudes begin to show up in their own behavior. Music influences mood, and mood influences decisions. Think of how easily a song can make you feel energized, sad, angry, romantic, or depressed. That is emotional influence. But emotions do not stay as emotions. They become thoughts. Thoughts then become behavior. Your music becomes the soil in which your thoughts grow. If the soil is polluted, the thoughts that grow from it will be polluted. If the soil is healthy, your thoughts will be healthy. Many people are fighting thoughts and temptations that did not originate from their minds. They entered through music. Here is another hook. Your playlist is preaching to you even when you're not listening. The atmosphere around you responds to sound. A house filled with worship feels peaceful. A place filled with violent, vulgar, or sinful music carries a heavy, unsettling energy. Children behave differently when certain music plays because their spirit reacts to the sound before their understanding develops. Adults are no different. When you fill your space with uplifting, encouraging, godly music, your mind becomes calm, your spirit becomes strong, and your atmosphere becomes bright and welcoming. But when dark or sinful music becomes the soundtrack of your environment, spiritual heaviness, confusion, and anxiety increase without warning. You do not have to be intentionally listening for it to influence you. Sound does not need your permission to enter your soul. The danger is that repeated exposure creates normality. What once shocked you becomes familiar, and what becomes familiar becomes acceptable. Music normalizes behavior faster than conversation. A song that celebrates cheating, lust, disrespect, alcohol, or pride may seem harmless in the moment, but repetition makes the heart comfortable with what God calls sin. Many people are living lifestyles today because yesterday's music made it seem normal and glamorous. Before behavior becomes trendy in society, it becomes trendy in music. Music influences culture long before culture influences people. If you want to protect your character, your values, and your spiritual purity, you must watch what music you allow to shape your identity. This is why guarding your playlist should not be seen as restriction, it is protection. Remove the songs that feed negativity, impurity, and spiritual weakness. Replace them with music that uplifts, strengthens and aligns with the life you want God to build in you. You do not need to wait for your mood to change before changing your music. Sometimes changing your music is what changes your mood, your mindset, and your spirit. If you want to walk in joy, listen to songs of joy. If you want peace, play music filled with peace. If you want spiritual power, surround yourself with songs that carry the presence of God. Music is spiritual nutrition. Feed your soul with what nourishes it rather than what drains it. The truth is simple. Your character will eventually resemble the sound you live with. If your music honors God, your character will grow in godliness. If your music feeds your flesh will grow stronger than your spirit. Do not allow music to weaken what God is trying to strengthen. Build an atmosphere that supports your purpose and destiny. Choose songs that lift you into who you are becoming, not the version you left behind.